Okay. So, very good morning to all the participants. I am Shauna Kulkarni from MS Gosavi College of Sir Dr. MS Gosavi College of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, and I welcome you to the day 6, Wednesday, for of our 1 week international e-FDP e-STP on fostering research, innovation, and academic excellence in pharmacy. So let us start with the first session that is which will be conducted by Dr. Deepti Pandita, who is a professor, Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research Institute, Delhi, and ma'am is going to deliver her topic on from approval to accountability, rethinking research ethics. So to tell you something about ma'am's educational qualifications are ma'am is a PhD in pharmaceutics in the year 2008 from Jamia Hamdard University. Ma'am is a master's in pharmacy in pharmaceutics from Manipal College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and she's a B Pharm, the Bachelor of Pharmacy of in the year 1997 from University of Mysore. To tell you about ma'am's areas of interest and expertise, ma'am has an expertise in nanomedicine and nanotheranostics, in bioconjugates, in stem cell research for tissue engineering, drug discovery and drug repurposing, 3D printing for personalized and precision medicine, and targeted phytochemical drug delivery. To tell you about her professional experience and leadership roles, ma'am is a PhD coordinator at DPSRU. She's a training and placement head at DPSRU. Also, she's a dean academics at the same university. She's a coordinator for Center for Advanced Formulation Technology. She's a chairperson in Academic Integrity Panel. She's again a chairperson for Sexual Harassment Committee, and she's a member of Board of Governors and Finance Committee. So to tell you about her research and academic contributions, she has a whopping 150 plus research publications, which have been published in high impact journals, and she has a cumulative impact factor of around 400. She's also a guest editor for certain international journals, and she's guiding four PhDs, and she has also guided like 56 postgraduates, and she's currently guiding four postgraduate students. She has certain patents on pharmaceutical composition for treatment of viral diseases, which has been granted, and a head massage band for headache relief, which has been filed. To tell you about her research metrics, she has citations of around 4,908, 4,977, and she has an H index of 32, and she has an ITIN index of 72. To tell you about her major research projects, which are selected. Some of them include nanopharmaceutical delivery systems for anti-cancer drugs, some nanoparticulate delivery systems for anti-cancer therapy, DSIR Common Research and Technology Development Hub, DST FIST Dermal Technology Facility Development, nanotherapeutic systems targeting pancreatic cancer, and drug discovery strategies for MASLD and cardiometabolic syndrome. Uh, about her awards and recognitions, she has been awarded with world's top 2% scientist by Stanford University for multiple years. She is distinguished, outstanding notable. She has been awarded with distinguished, outstanding, and notable research awards by DPSRU. She was awarded as the best pharmaceutical scientist award by APTI. She has certain international travel awards by SERB and ICMR, and she has backed the Young Scientist Fast Track Award by SERB. So, with this brief introduction, I now request ma'am to start with her session on the topic from approval to accountability, rethinking research ethics. It's a great pleasure to have you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this nice introduction. And I just want to correct in some ways that there are few administrative positions I was previously, not all the positions right now I'm handling.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
so thank you so much, and I thank the organizers as well for such a excellent streaming platform for this FDP and STP program. At the outset, coming to my presentation, that is from approval to accountability, I'm going to talk about the rethinking research ethics in modern biomedical research. It's a very Very good afternoon to all the participants who are present for the this online workshop. And I wanted the session to be interactive, but I was told that it is not interactive. But still, I would raise some questions which I want that participants, the audience, should think, so that they rethink about the research ethics which are required, or which are involved, or which need to be restructured, reconstructed in modern biomedical research. So I want to start with a very simple question, like if tomorrow one of the medicines that you have prescribed or if you have developed, it was discovered to be based on fabricated data. So, who would be responsible? So, this is a very simple and very important question that should come in our mind, that who would be responsible? So, number one, the author would be responsible, the institution would be responsible, or the ethics committee would be responsible, or all of us. So we need to rethink about it. And today we are moving from approval to accountability, because ethics is no longer just about getting a signature from the ethics committee, it is about protecting the truth itself, safeguarding what we have done. So, how? Okay. So we started with what you mean by research ethics. So when research ethic term comes in your mind, again, I want everyone to think about it. That what question will be asked? Like how many of you think that ethics is only about getting the informed consent? When we talk about the clinical trials, when we go for in our pharma research, so most of the people think that ethics is like the consent form that we are getting from the participants. But ethics is also, we have to understand how we analyze the data, how we report the results, how we choose the authors, and how we are handling the AI tools. So, research ethics, in addition to being a systematic investigation, research ethics is also about that we have to see ethics is what makes the investigation trustworthy. So, with that in mind, the research ethics needs to be rethought about in the present research era, in the present big data and AI era. So, why research ethics matter today? Because we need to promote values. We need collaborative work with the other academic institutions, with the industry at an international level. We need to work with trust. We need to have accountability and mutual respect and fairness. Then only we can promote values. So that's why research ethics needs to be considered. We need to ensure the integrity. We all know about that, we have to prevent the fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. So we don't, fabrication is that we do not make up the data. Falsification is we do not manipulate the data. We do not omit the data which is not good for our study, and we also need to take care of the plagiarism. So these FFP needs to be considered when we talk about research ethics. Now, public trust. So 95% of the duplication cases, they will diminish the public confidence. So when you want your drug in the market, when you want your research to be commercialized, we need public trust. So research ethics needs to be reconsidered. And with the rising this integration of AI and machine learning, a lot of AI is being used in the science, in the publication, in the results and reporting. So we need to be very careful about following the guidelines and not falling into any kind of misconduct knowingly or unknowingly. And global impact, we already know that from last couple of years, India has taken a new habit of fraud, and 10 to 20% of papers have been retracted for misconduct globally, which needs to be prevented. And Again, now here, because we have faculty members also here, we need to, I again need to raise a question, or I need to give an example, that if you have a young faculty, and if the young faculty tells you that you need 10 scopus papers in 2 years for promotion, so the system, so this is our system. So what happens, then we go for all the authorship misconduct, we go for ghost authorships, honorary authorships, and like, that that has to be avoided. Like, authorship is a very very important criteria. I'll be taking up in the like, the further slides, where I talk about how the authorship is to be credited, and because an author is answerable to the research that is being published, that is being reported. So the next is why ethics must be restructured, because we have algorithm ecosystems. Science now operates within non-transparent data infrastructures and AI-driven analysis, creating new epistemic risks. Okay, in the knowledge, the knowledge risks that we have. Transnational funding. So if we need to go for the globalized research, complex regulatory gaps would be there, and jurisdictional conflicts might be there. So ethics needs to be reconstructed now, and the regime of this publish or perish culture that we have in our society, that also needs to be reconstructed, that, because this publish to perish cultures has uh, like, we have come to various misconducts because of this culture, and structurally we have to reward the productivity over rigor. So when we talk of research in the long term gain, quality matters, quantity doesn't matter. So we have to take care of that. That we should go for the quality of research, and we should not go for the quantity of research. Now, ethics as epistemic responsibility. So on, like, we have to protect the truth, and we do not have to just protect the subjects when we talk of the clinical trials. So this present session is more related to the clinical trials, and then I'll also be talking parallelly about the how the research and publications also go parallelly in the same ways. So we have it, ethics is not only about protecting the subject, it is about protecting the truth. So we have to break it into four pillars. That is ontological integrity. That is your data real? Then next comes methodological transparency. That is, can others reproduce your data? So this is important. And the next is interpretive honesty. That is, are you exaggerating, or you have to say the facts? You do not have to exaggerate. And social accountability. That how will this affect the policy? So we have to take care of the social accountability as well. So for example, if we are exaggerating, like, if you have prepared a nanoparticles and you are exaggerating that nanoparticle viability was improved from twofold to tenfold, so we will influence the funding, we are going to influence the regulatory decisions, and even patient expectations. So what we quote is very important, and we have to be very careful about it. We do not have to exaggerate, we have to be very honest about it. Now, what is the historical foundation of the research ethics? So, first was the Nuremberg Code that taught us about the consent, that we need to have consent of the volunteers, and this happened because of uh, the unethical, recruitment of volunteers. Forced without consent, the volunteers are recruited in World War II. So the experiments and all done. So after this, to safeguard the volunteers, this Nuremberg Code started. Next was Declaration of Helsinki. It was for the physician responsibility. It was for it was related to the design, the study design. So Tushki's study, from 1932 to 72, it talked about the exposure of systemic injustice. That is, one vulnerable population has to be protected. So that was the ethics background. Then Belmont report talked about the universal principles where we have to take care, safeguard the respect, beneficence, and justice. And in the modern era, this Council of International Organization of Medical Sciences. Then we have ICMJE, that is International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. They give updates for the data sharing, reproducibility, and also about the AI tools that we're using. So ethics is beyond protecting human subjects. It is now to protect data integrity, epistemic reliability, and societal trust. So, next is what are the core ethical principles? So, beneficence, that is, we have the obligation to maximize the possible benefits and minimize the possible harms. Research design must ensure that risks are reasonable in relation to the anticipated benefits. Non-maleficence, we do not have to harm the subjects. The volunteers' interests are to be taken into consideration, and we have to protect the vulnerable population as well. Next. So, respect of the person. So, the volunteers have to be respected, and a proper informed consent has to be taken. Fairness in distribution of burdens and benefits. Like we do not have to, we do not have to work towards the benefit of the privileged, and non-privileged should not be exploited. So, justice should prevail in case of the core ethical behavior. Next, what are the global guidelines that we need to take care that we need to follow and read about? First is the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. So they set the standards for authorship. So they tell us who should be the first author, who should be the fourth author, who should be the corresponding author based on the various components, and based on the contribution of the authors, and to avoid any misconduct in giving the authorship. Ghost authorship should be avoided, and honorary authorship should also be avoided. The COPE is the Committee on Publication Ethics. It provides us the flowcharts and guidelines. You can go to the website and you can see how they give us the guidelines where that we have to follow while handling, so that we protect them. We do not have any misconduct, and retraction processes are also avoided. So FDA, ICSR, regulatory bodies of USA and India, they enforce strict compliance for clinical trials and drug approval and participant safety. So we have to follow those guidelines when we take care of um, these studies. ICH International this Harmonization Conference of Harmonization (GCP). It is a globally recognized ethical and scientific standard for designing, conducting, monitoring, and reporting the clinical trials that are involving human participants. So, ICMGA, it tells us the authorship standards. Code tells us about the handling misconduct. FDA ICSR tells us about the regulatory enforcement, and ICH tells us about the complete standards that need to be followed. Then next is the institutional review boards and the institutional ethics committees. So these are the gatekeepers of the ethics, especially for the academic institutions. We have these ethics committees. They mm, they function. They are the gatekeepers of the ethics. They function as an independent bodies, and they are mandated to review the protocols for ethical compliance before studies begin. So we all know that we have institutional ethical committees for the use of animals. If you need human, in case of human studies, you have human ethics committee, and if you are going for any cell line studies, so you have other ethics committee. So for all these studies, all the protocols, all these studies that are be conducted in the academics, they should be approved by these bodies. These committees, they have a very stringent composition where we have diverse membership, including scientists and non-scientists, ethicists. We may have NGOs. We may have clinicians and veterinarians in these ethic committees and lay members, which will minimize the conflict of interest, and they will safeguard your studies by giving the comments. They have the, then what is the authority? So they have the authority to approve your proposal. They may ask you to modify the approval, or they may also reject the approval. And continuing review is required at least annually. So annually, so most of the case, in most of the institution, these ethic committees gives us the approval for 1 year, and if the study is incomplete, you can again go for the renewing of the of your proposal. Now, what is the goal of this institutional ethics committee is that we need to primarily focus is the protection on the rights and welfare of the human research subjects in case of the human ethical committees. And if we are talking about the animal ethic committee, we have to see the welfare of the animals that are being used in the in your study. So ethical undermining through matrices. So uh, how ethical undermining will happen. First is the submission. Like if you are submitting your protocol, like we have to take care the protocol is properly written with all the references and bibliography. Informed consent forms have to be there, and data management plans has to be submitted. Form A for the minimal risk, and preliminary review covers the initial screening of the completeness and determination of the review category. So they will decide whether that it has to go to the board for the reviewing or further or not, or it will be, if it is incomplete or if it is not they will tell you whether they have to exempt, expedite, or they have full. So it goes to next. It goes to the review board, where it will review for high risk, expedited for minimal risk, and risk benefit analysis are conducted. Finally, we get the approval letter that issued with the conditions valid typically for 1 year before renewal. So here I have to raise a question that we have to raise a question that if suppose we are conducting a 3 year clinical study, so we have two options. So in this clinical study, so we publish one solid reproducible paper, or option B, that we slice it into 5 small publishable units. So which one improves our API score, so I would have expected answer from the participant if it was interactive. So I really want the participants to give a thought about it, that if we are conducting any study, whether we need to have a very good one solid paper published, or we should slice it into multiple papers. So if we have for example, if we have a major research proposal or project with three objectives, so whether we should go for three different papers of each objective, or we should go for one solid paper which talks about all the objectives together and gives us the conclusive conclusion for a major of that major study. So basically, here I had asked this in one of the interactions. I had asked this to the audience, and they asked that, like, ma'am, if my so how do we decide? So see, if the study's objectives, all the three objectives are related to each other, then it should be taken as a one solid paper, a one solid study where we can publish or we can patent it, whatever is required. And if you want to publish a single objective, it you have to see the conclusiveness of that objective, and the objective is not related to other objectives. So this is where the ethics meets the incentive structure. So you have to see, and you have to deliberate in your mind that whether how you have to follow the ethics and how you have to see the incentive structure. Okay, so what are the common approval pitfalls in complete applications? So, if you have missing documents such as CVs, brochures, or signatures, unclear consent forms, too much technical knowledge, not clearly explaining the study, undisclosed conflicts, financial interest, or dual roles not properly reported, poor recruitment plans, risk of exploitation or unfair participation, selection, weak data protection, inadequate plans for data security and confidentiality. So these are the common reasons that leads to the rejection of the proposals. So basically, when we are planning a study, so we have to take care that risk must never outweigh benefits to individuals or society. So ethics is proportionality as well. So next is about the fabrication and falsification are rarely isolated individual moral lapses, but as structural consequences of research systems that reward innovation more than validation. So we need to. So fabrication and falsification is not an individual's work. It is. It goes beyond, and the it's a structural consequence of a research system which rewards the innovation and not the validation, and wherein case validation is very important. That's why we have to rethink about the ethics, and we need to think about the restructuring uh, of the research ethics, harmonization of the research ethics at a global level also needs to be. So avoiding misconduct. So this I had briefly introduced in the previous slide that the number one misconduct is fabrication. That is, if you are making up the data or results and recording or reporting them. Next is the falsification, manipulating the research materials, equipment, or processes, or omitting the data. So this all together makes the data falsified, and the research is not accurately represented. And plagiarism is appropriating another person's ideas, processes, results, or words without giving appropriate credit. So more than 20% of the similarity often will be flagged. So we have now various plagiarism softwares with the academic institutions where we can go for the where we can keep a track of any incident of plagiarism. It is a responsibility of the faculty members, of the researchers, that they take care, they track that the students are not using any kind of one of this misconduct. They are not under fabrication, they are not inventing the data, they are not manipulating the results that would be the falsification of data, and they are not doing any intellectual theft, that is plagiarism. So this has to be kept in track, and various time it happens. No, it doesn't happen knowingly, it happens unknowingly. So we need to take care of, we need to aware the students, we need to have encourage them attending the various workshops where they talk about misconduct, where they talk about these fabrication, falsification, or where they talk about the ethics when we go for the research in academics as as well as in industry level research. So publication ethics infrastructure. So data publication is important part of accountability. So whatever work we have done, whatever work we have, what has been done under our project or in our lab, so publication, it gets published, it gets documented or reported through publications, or it goes in the reports where it will be further used for or it may end up in commercialization. It's a very big responsibility, and we are responsible and we are answerable to what data we are reporting or documenting. So, publication ethics infrastructure is a major concern. Data availability, so journals must mandate access to raw data. Few of the journals are doing it. So how we can restructure it? We can make the raw data available to the readers. So this is raw data audit, which is being practiced by many of the journals, where you give your raw data, where they ask you to submit the raw data as a supplementary files or as a separate files. So, data availability, if the journals mandate the access of raw data, then you will have transparency in the results that you have documented, and nobody can question about the results or the conclusions that you have come up with. Conflict disclosure, full financial and non-financial transparency has to be there. There should not be any conflict of interest, especially financial. So the journals will take care of that as well. And when we check that box, that there is no conflict of interest, we have to be very transparent and very honest about it, for so that we do not get into any future conflicts. Peer review. Next is the peer review, one of the most important component of publication ethics, open or transparent review processes. So, as a reviewer, the scientists also have to be very fair when they review the work, and give very honest and very like you know. I always tell the students that it is very important that the work gets critically reviewed, which will help us to improve the have a third perspective on the work and improve the work. So here I want to there's one more. When we were talking about the publication, I also need to raise a point here that when we, as in scholars and young researchers, we feel that when we include a name as a co-author, which is a very famous scientist or very famous academician, if we put the name of that academician, of that researcher or scientist as a co-author, our paper will get visibility or acceptance. It is not the case, my dear friends. It is the peer-reviewed papers are very sincerely and very it is reviewed by the scientist sitting globally at four different corners. So. By giving honorary authorship, or by assuming that your paper will get visibility, no, this is not the way the review process works. The review process works that it goes to some journals go for blind reviewing, and some go for open reviewing. So whatever may be the case, a good peer reviewed journal will always take the studies and the results into the consideration, and these things are not important. So here I need to, when we are talking about research, we need to have certain studies, cases that were reported in the past. So we have very high profile case of Anil Poti, where the it was. So here is what the cost of fabric led to. Duke University researcher in 2010 claimed to use genomic structure to predict cancer drug response. And the misconduct was the data was falsified, credentials were falsified, clinical trials started based on this fraudulent data. So it went till fraudulent data led to the clinical trials as well. And what was the consequence? 11 papers in very, very reputed and high impact journals were retracted, trials were halted, patients were harmed, and it led to massive lawsuits, and there was a lot of loss and funding. Loss on funding, and of course the loss on trust. So institutional oversight failed, peer review failed, and and need for rigorous raw data audits. Everyone realized that we need to have rigorous raw data audits. And when we are publishing, the journal has to take care of the raw data. When we are reporting, we have to see the raw data. And when we are so all this needs to be taken care of. And fabrication. So this gives us a point that fabrication is not a statistical issue; it's a patient safety issue. So whatever all small study you do in the next decade, due to that study that you did conducted in lab, innovative work that you did, it ended up in some important uh, commercialized product. So if the falsification, fabrication of the data has to be, the surveillance has to be there from the day one of the study. We should not think that very small aspect of a study how it is going to affect the later outcomes. It do affect the later outcomes. So the lesson that we learned was institutional oversight failed, peer review failed, and need for rigorous raw data audits was take was later on included. So that was the conclusive of this. So there are many other cases like that in globally, in India and outside India. So we can Google it and we can see. So authorship is a accountability chain. So when I was talking about from approval to accountability, authorship is an accountability chain. It's more than giving credit. Authorship is not just about credit; it signifies the chain of responsibility, intellectual contribution. We need to have substantial work in the designer analysis, accuracy, the responsibility for the integrity of data, public answerability. We should be willing to defend the work. We are answerable. Every author in the publication or report is answerable to that document. And how many of us, must have seen that there manipulation. So these need to be avoided and that's why honorary authorships should be avoided because it puts the other person in a witness box. So next is authorship ethics. So ICNJE gives us the criteria for the authorship ethics. So it has four different components: contribution, drafting, approval, accountability. So contribution is that substantial contribution to the conception when when it was conceptualized, when the work was conceptualized. uh, you contributed in the design of the work, you contributed in the acquisition of the results, you contributed in the analysis, or you contributed in the interpretation of the data. So all this makes you the contributing author of the paper if you are involved in all of this or one of this component. Next is the drafting. So drafting the work for revising it critically for important intellectual content. Multiple times it has to be drafted, first draft, second draft, then revise, then it goes to the next draft till you get a final paper. So final approval of the version that is to be published, and accountability once it has been published. Once the paper has been approved, the next important point that comes that I am talking here is the accountability. So agreement to be accountable for all the aspects of the work. So all the authors who are listed in the paper would be accountable, and they have to agree to the all the aspects of the work that has been detailed or that has been written in the paper. Conflict of interest as a structural bias. So conflict does not always shout; it whispers. Okay, if a study of a new excipient is funded by a manufacturer, does it influence the endpoint selection? Disclosure is necessary, but not sufficient. So subtle shaping, conflict can quietly influence how a study is designed. how questions are framed, which outcomes are selected, and how results are interpreted. Even when there is no obvious misconduct, financial or professional relationships may affect how research fundings are presented. It's beyond disclosure. Simply, we are disclosing a conflict is not enough. True accountability requires proper safeguards, individual review, independent review, clear systems to manage the conflict so that research remains fair, objective, and trustworthy. So AI and ML in research ethics. So uh, with the boom of AI nowadays, this also becomes an integral part of the research ethics. That algorithm biases, machine learning models trained or limited or unbalanced data, such as data sets that mostly include white or male populations, can produce biased results. In drug discovery and diagnosis, this may lead to less accurate predictions for underrepresented groups. Ensuring diverse and inclusive training data is therefore very essential for fair and ethical healthcare innovations. And under the black box problem, lack of explainability in AI decision, it will challenge the principle of accountability. So researchers, as in we must be able to explain how a result was reached, to validate it scientifically and ethically. So we cannot have any kind of misconduct using the AI tool, because what all is being reported, if AI has given you some results or some outcome, if you are not able to justify or scientifically prove that result or report, then you will be at the witness box. So you will be accountable for such kind of results. So we have to be very careful when we use the AI tools in our research. So, when we talk of publications, this is a very important uh, information that should reach that retraction and sanctions. So, we are seeing that there is a boom in the retraction of the number of publications globally, and retraction. We call retraction as the public record correction. You are correcting the research record by retracting the papers, because someone globally at one place might try to reproduce your result, or may take your work and try to have some future work using the data that is present in the paper that is falsified. It will lead to the loss of resources, loss of money, loss of time, and loss of reputation and trust among the scientific community. So retraction is a very important component which needs to be taken care of, and the paper remains indexed, but it is stamped as retracted. So 60% retraction is due to misconduct, and 40% is an honest error. So if we are doing it intentionally, it is a fraud, is a plagiarism, and sometimes the scholars or the young researchers, or sometimes uh, the information gets published due to unintentional copying or unintentional reasons. So that gives 40% honest. So we have to be very aware and alert, and we need to educate our young researchers, PG, PhD scholars, and we need to tell all of them the know-how of the research ethics, so as to reduce the honest error percentage. And if there is a retraction that comes in your CV per se, so it can, the worst case scenario, the employment may be terminated, or there may be legal, civil, criminal penalties for fraud or grant of the money theft. So this slide gives the retraction trends in India. So year-wise retraction of the research papers from India, and retraction growth. Now this retraction growth, it is reflecting both crises and better oversight. That means this is showing us that, see, so many of the researchers, they have a lot of papers and be retracted from 2021 onwards due to the misconduct or copying or plagiarism issues, and So the if you are doing any misconduct, there is a it's a red flag. But there are surveillance, there are systems to catch you. The misconduct will be caught. There are organization committees which will catch these, and you will be then scrutinized. You lose your reputation. So the retraction has grown. The crisis. And there is a better oversight for this. Now, in these research ethics, when we talk of research ethics, what is the institutional accountability? So, culture, creating an environment where ethics is valued over publish or perish pressure. So, our academic institutions, they have to think about revisiting the culture that is prevailing in our academic academic system, where this publish or perish culture is still there. So that needs to be restructured. Training, mandatory responsible conduct of research, training for all the staff and students. So this what we are doing. We are doing e-FDP and e-STP for fostering research, innovation, and academic excellence in pharmaceutical sciences. So this what is being conducted is a part of the training that all the institutions should follow. They should have these trainings for all the staff and students. Next is the protection. So robust whistleblower policies to allow safe reporting of suspected misconduct. So if a misconduct happens in a lab or in an institution, the whistleblower should be protected. There should be some policy for protecting. So if misconduct is caught, the whistleblower should not be targeted. So this also should come under the institution's accountability and oversight, that is well resourced IRBs and institutional ethical committees and compliance officers to monitor ongoing research. So we need to have a very well resourced and very strong boards and committees who can monitor the projects, the research that is being conducted in the academics. Okay, metrics. This gives the metrics of accountability, internal audits, retraction rate, training compliance, and data sharing mechanism should be followed, which tell us the internet. For in case of internal audits, the key metrics is percentage of labs audited annually, retraction rate. What is you should target less than 1% due to misconduct. Training compliance, 100% of start certification is important, and for data sharing, percent of papers with open data links should be there. Rethinking, rethinking. We need to have emerging. We need to go for the rethinking and researching because every day it is evolving. The the research is evolving, and we are facing some emerging challenges. Big data genomics. Genomic data can identify individuals, making true anonymity difficult. So there is always a risk of re-identification, especially in large biobanks and shared databases. So researchers must protect privacy carefully and plan for long-term data security. So we should the raw data should be protected for 10 years. Climate impact. Now, these large clinical trials or the AI-based research, they consume a lot of significant energy and they produce carbon emissions. So, ethical research today also means reducing the environmental impact and designing more sustainable studies. Uh, Next, under the rethinking is a component global equity. So, sometimes researchers collect data in low income countries without building local capacity or sharing benefits. And ethical research requires fair partnerships, local involvement, and post trial access to treatment, protecting the vulnerable population, and having equity. Uh, then dual use research, some research intended for medical or scientific benefit could be misused. So strong ethical review and biosecurity oversight are necessary to prevent the harm. Open science as systemic reform. So when we are talking about the restructuring, we have to restructure the the incentives as well. So transparency has to be there, like um, pre-registering study protocols. It will help us prevent the selective reporting and data manipulation. Preprints research can be shared quickly, but results may not yet be peer reviewed. So, uh, responsible communication is important. Data sharing, that is, making raw data available, it will allow other researchers to verify the findings and improve the reliability. Mindset shift, moving from owning data to responsibly managing it to the public good. So we have to shift from owning the data. You don't own your data, so we have to move from owning the data to stewarding the data. And transparency is not a punishment; it is protection. We have to be very keen on this. That transparency, having transparency in your studies, is not punishment. It is your protection actually. Now, international harmonization. So, one ethics for global trials. So, rethinking also requires harmonizing the system. So, the goal is a single high ethical standard, regardless of where the research is conducted. And the reality is cultural variations in individual autonomy versus community consent. So, that has to be revisited. Local ethical committees must have final say, but international core principles like Declaration of Helsinki is non-negotiable. So you have you have to have your local ethical committees to safeguard the result, but you also have to follow the international in guidelines that are laid down. That also need to be incorporated. That is non-negotiable basically. Reciprocity, mutual recognition of IRB approvals to speed up multi-center trials without lowering standards. Now, funding agency responsibility. So we have to shape the systemic norms. Data sharing, it should be a condition of funding. So how we can restructure? We can have the data sharing as one of the component condition for funding. Transparent reporting required for grants. So we should have very transparent reporting if you need the grants, institutional or research grants. Ethical audits, verification mechanism should be there in the system so that ethical audits can be done, which will verify our work and which will give authenticity also to the work. So funding, this is the responsibility of the funding agency when they fund the research. And all these fundings, they are given to the researchers based on their past track record, based on their proposals. So all of this has to be verified, and it has to be transparent, and should be very keenly and in depth checked by the funding agency. Future directions. So, blockchain, utilization of secure systems where clinical trial data cannot be changed later. So, we need to have such, not only in the clinical trials, but also in other lab data as well. We can have these systems, we can have these secure systems where once you have loaded the data cannot be changed, it cannot. So, this puts our data into the safeguard. AI ethics board, specialized review committees for algorithm research, assessing bias, explainability, social impact alongside traditional research. So AI ethical boards are to be incorporated in the institution. AI regulation and governance, emerging regulations, for example, Europe AI Act emphasize risk classification, transparency obligations, and audit trials. Research ethics must integrate these legal frameworks, so, human oversight requirements are central to ensuring AI does not become an unaccountable black box in science. So, utilizing AI tools but being transparent and not simply copying the AI information is very that credibility we need to have, and what all has been reported, we should be accountable. So this need to be also included in the regulation and governance. So, policy recommendations are mandatory retention. That is, we should enforce 10-year minimum raw data retention policy at the institution level. Global reciprocity, standardized IRBs, these boards, research boards, forms to facilitate international collaboration, open data, make raw data deposition a condition of funding and publication at institutional level or at a higher level, funding agency level. So this already some journals are and some funding bodies are already have adopted this open data approach. Career incentives, in case of our career, we can modify the tenure and promotion criteria to reward data quality and reproducibility, not just impact factor. We don't have to just talk of impact factor when we are talking of the incentives. We have to modify, we have to reward the data quality and reproducibility as well. Whistleblower fund, so legal and financial support for those who expose the high level fraud. So this also should come in the policy if we need to safeguard the research, if we need to follow the ethics in the present scenario. So I would end this session with a quote that integrity is the currency of credibility. Scientific authority derives not from expertise alone, but from transparent, reproducible, ethically governed knowledge production. Thank you so much. So if you know, mm, questions, you can always get to me on this email ID. Uh,
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a wonderful session. And it is a request to the participants if they have any questions, they can post it in the chat box in the comment section, please.
okay, thank you to the chair. So if am I allowed to leave?
Yeah, ma'am. Just 1 minute. Uh, I'll just like to conclude the session. I think there are no questions. You've delivered everything like very nicely, so I don't think that there are any questions right now. Just a
No,
second,
no.
ma'am. Just give
It
me
has
1 minute.
to. No, no. It makes two approaches if no questions are there. Either they have understood everything or they have not understood.
But I'm very sure they have understood everything. Yeah, and ma'am, thank you very much for accepting our invitation for this FDP, and thank you very much for presenting your topic in such a great way, because I think research ethics are paramount to any research, and they are one thing which cannot be ignored and which should not be ignored. Thank you very much for putting everything so nicely for our participants. And like I said, that our participants are research scholars, most of them are PhD scholars as well, and many of them are also from an academic background who are pursuing any different projects. So I'm very sure that this research and this this uh, presentation and your talk will be very helpful to them. So ma'am, from our side, please accept this certificate of appreciation as a token of love. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I thank all the committee members okay, for the invitation. I'm very happy to interact with your organization. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Am I allowed to leave
Participants are
now?
requested to please. Yes, ma'am, no problem. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Participants are requested to please stay online in this session, because this will be followed by the valedictory function. We'll be starting with the valedictory function soon, within 5 minutes, and the feedback link will be posted on the WhatsApp group. So please fill the feedback, and yeah, please fill the feedback first, and please keep this session joined for the valedictory function. Thank you very much.
कोणी हे करणार आहे का जे व्हॅलिडेटरचं कोणी हे करणार आहे का नाही डायरेक्ट मिस ओके मे आय very good morning and warm welcome to all delegates who are attending this 1 week e-faculty development program that is fostering research innovations and academic excellence in pharmacy from 12th February to today 18th February organized by Gokhale Education Societies Sir Dr. M.S. Gosavi, College of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Principal T.A. Kulkarni, Vidyanagar, and Nashik. It is mainly organized by Internal Quality Assurance Cell of this college in association with Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, APTI. And I am very happy to mention here this pharmacy college have been organizing such kind of e-FDP and e-STP since 2020. That is the first phase of Corona. But this college took an initiative and organized 1 week e-FDP on month of May 2020. At that time, I could remember 18 speakers were there, 1600 registrations, and which was fully sponsored by Savitribai Phule Pune University. Because of the huge response by delegates throughout the globe. So that has motivated us, and we have been organizing such EFDP, ESTP from last 6 years because of response given by delegates of pharmaceutical and mainly pharmaceutical and life science delegates throughout the globe. This Gokhale Education Society is having a legacy of 107 years, established in 1918, completed 107th year, and very soon, on 19th February, we are going to have a celebration of 108th foundation of Gokhale Education Society. The unique feature of society established by teacher, run by teacher, lead by teacher, and that's why always given priority to academic activities. And it mainly works on two principles: above self, above politics, and very importantly, Vidyarthi Deva Bhava. And that's why society is always ready to provide some financial assistance as well other assistance for student and teacher for their academic and extracurricular development. Society is spread over three zones of Maharashtra, four zones of Maharashtra: Mumbai, Palghar, Nashik, and Amravati, having 140 plus educational institutes, and all are quality marks, ISO certified and NAC accredited and re-accredited colleges, and providing quality education at very affordable cost. This college was established in 2012, and within a short span of 14 years, college achieved many milestones. Among that, started with the 60 B farm intake, then we increased our intake from 60 to 100 in 2017, along with the deep farm program started in 2017. Then we faced NB accreditation in 2019. We got accredited, and then immediately we got a M-Farm in pharmaceutics in 2020. After that, we started M-Farm in quality assurance, and also this college is also having a PhD research center affiliated to Savitribai Phule Pune University. As I mentioned, society, same way college is always motivating faculty and students to participate in different extracurricular and curricular activities. 7 faculty members have visited 7 different countries to present their research papers. Not only that, students are also presenting their research publication at state as well as national levels. And recently in Avishkar competition, our 3 students got selected at Savitribai Phule Pune University level. And similarly, we are also promoting our students to participate in extracurricular activities, debate competitions. Then I am very happy to mention here just yesterday, our student grabbed first prize and second prize in state level debate competition organized at Nashik. So similar way, the college is also taking initiative to conduct academic activities, and in that academic activities, one is this e-FDP, ASTP, and every year the college is organizing one seminar, full day seminar only for a student to motivate them for to appearing competitive examination like GPAT examination, NIPER JE examination, GAT-B examination. and that is free to all students of Nashik district. And secondly, since 2012, we have been organizing a national level seminar in month of February since last 10 years. So this kind of activities we have been doing. And similar in a case, we have organized this e-FDP and e-STP, as I mentioned, since last 6 years we have been organizing. And similarly, this e-FDP, fostering research, innovation, and academic excellence in pharmacy, the delegates have given a huge response. Total registrations were 428. It's a very huge response, and near about 12 speakers have contributed for this EFDP. Among that, very well-known personalities like Dr. Afsar Ahmad, he spoke on nanobiotechnology. Dr. Yogeshwar Bacha, formulation challenges and delivering water-insoluble drugs for parenteral administration. Dr. Adepalli, he talked on research and development ethics in pharmaceutical education. Dr. Pranav Prabhakar, he talked on research excellence in pharmacy education, innovation, ethics, and high impact publication. Dr. Prashant Kharkar on innovative ways to innovative making every moment count. Dr. Sachin Kumar Singh, state of art involved in manuscript writing. Dr. Sarita Shetty, integration of innovation and excellence, building resilient institution tomorrow. Dr. Javed Ali, academic leadership and governance. Dr. Atmaram Pawar on research innovation, IPR and multidiscipline under NAP 2020. And Dr. Deepti Pandita, she talked on approval to accountability, rethinking research ethics. There here we have considered all research parameters, academic as well as administrative parameters, to give a maximum input to all delegates who have attended for this validatory function. So I am very much thankful to management of our Gokhale Education Society, mainly Dr. Principal Mrs. D.P. Deshpande Madam, Secretary Gokhale Education Society, who always supports all faculty members and students to organize such kind of e-FDP, e-STP with financial support, with the kind blessings of Honorable Dr. R.P. Deshpande, President Gokhale Education Society. And these activities could not have been possible without the great support of Principal P.M. Deshpande, Project Director, Branch Secretary, Sri Shailejji Gosavi, Establishment Director, the Zonal Secretaries of our Gokhale Education Society, Chairman of Gokhale Education Society, and all faculty members who have been working in this college since last 10, 15 years, my students and all. This would not have been possible with a great success without the support of all delegates throughout the globe. I would like to mention here 428 delegates, not from Nashik, Maharashtra or India, throughout the globe. Delegates have participated in this, and with the great support of all this, we could successfully completed this 1 week e-FDP and e-STP on this very innovative topic, fostering research, innovation, and academic excellence in pharmacy. So I'm very much thankful to all 12 speakers who have given their valuable times to spare their time for this development of academic development of all pharmacy fraternity. So I'm very much thankful to all 12 speakers, my staff, faculty members, my management, and all the delegates. Once again, I'm very much thankful to all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir.
त्याचा व्हिडिओ असेल.
Participants are requested to please attempt the quiz, and following the quiz, you need to attempt an overall feedback of the FDP, and then only you'll be issued the certificates of this FDP. So please attempt the quiz till 12:30 p.m. right now. So you have like 1 hour and 15 minutes with you. So please attempt the quiz, fill the overall feedback, and thank you very much for joining us. We are very grateful for your presence, and we expect such kind of participation in the upcoming events as well. Thank you very much.